Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is George. Welcome to Pop-Up Painting. You may have seen me before if you've been attended some of these sessions before, but I'm going to be here helping you out all evening long. We also have Annie with us this evening. Annie, give us a big wave. Yay! Annie is our artist for this evening, so she's going to be taking us through step by step how to recreate this painting, which is very exciting. Don't feel like you have to follow along with everything, but you can do if you want. Annie will be taking you through step by step. A little bit about pop-up painting before we start. So we started just over 7 years ago, which is very exciting. We are all about helping people bring art out of the classroom and into social public spaces, so things like pubs, bars, restaurants. Unfortunately, obviously, we can't be doing that at the moment because of the very unfortunate situation we are all in, but luckily we have found a way that we can still bring art to you from our homes to yours and helping you unleash all of your creativity. At Pop-Up Painting, we are all about helping unleash creativity with a glass of wine in one hand and a paintbrush in the other. So I've got my glass of booze. It's not wine, I confess, but it is beer. Annie, have you got some booze with you as well? Yeah, I love it. Perfect. So don't feel like you have to. If you have a cup of tea, that's also absolutely fine. But we do have a motto at Pop-Up Painting: the more you drink, the better it looks. So we do encourage you to take on that advice if you so wish. We are going to be painting this evening a really popular painting of ours. We do this all the time at our events. It's the London Skyline by Rebecca Hunter. There's a really fun, colourful background in the back, and then we'll go to the foreground and put in all of our skylines. As I said, don't feel like you have to follow along with Annie if you don't want to. She'll be taking you through all of the instructions, but if you want to recreate something else, if you want to do a completely different skyline, go for it. If you want to, I don't know, paint the person you're with at home, also go for that. You know, whatever you want, we're just here to help you unleash some creativity. Annie is going to be using acrylic paints this evening. But if you don't have those available, feel free to use anything else. I've already spoken to someone on YouTube who's using felt brush tips, which is great. And I'm sure we can give you advice if you want to leave some comments either on Instagram or on YouTube. Just let us know if you're using maybe slightly more unfamiliar materials. We can give you some advice on how you might want to use those to recreate the same kind of painting that we're going to be doing today. Having said that, if you do want to get some materials that reflect the kind of stuff that we're using, we have actually just teamed up with our supplier at Pop-Up Painting. And if you have a look on our website at popuppainting.com/live, you can find a link to our materials pack, so you can get a pack sent to you with all of the ingredients, as it were, that Annie uses. The other thing to note is that we normally have music at our events. Of course, we can't do that here. It's a bit difficult to share our music with you, but we do have a YouTube. Sorry, not YouTube. We are on YouTube. We have a Spotify playlist that we've made for you guys. So it's a little bit sort of smaller than the playlist we normally use. But if you would like to listen along, we have shared that in the comments, so you can use that link to then listen at home if you want a little bit more ambience. We do have like a London kind of themed playlist, so you can listen along to that. So lots of things that either include London or London artists, that kind of thing. So yes, to really get you immersed in the experience of our London painting. The final thing before I hand over is that we would love to see all of your guys' paintings and creations. So please do share with us at the end of the session. If you've made something, you can put it on Instagram. Please tag us at Pop-Up Painting and hashtag Pop-Up Painting Live too. That would be great, and we would love to see those, and we can share them too and spread all of the artistic love. The final thing is that we obviously are live. This is something that we're testing, and that it's gone reasonably well, but obviously we can't always predict how technology is going to be. So should there be any issues for whatever reason with linking or anything, or if we go a bit funky, just please be patient and bear with us. We do have two kind of live channels going on. So we've got live on YouTube and live on Instagram too. So hopefully if for whatever reason something goes down, you can always pop over to the other one too. And obviously this is a bit shorter because we're using these live platforms, but you know, we just want to make sure you get all the instructions in for the painting. If you feel like you want to pause this and come back to it, you can on YouTube. That's absolutely fine. If you think we're going too fast, we just want to make sure you get everything you need to know. But you can always go at a slower pace if you need to. So that's all the boring stuff out of the way. I'm going to hand you over to Annie so that you can start painting and have loads of fun. Annie, hello.
Hello. You've
Yay.
unmuted me, yeah?
I have indeed.
Wonderful. I'm going to beat you out of Instagram now. Okay, remove. Hello, Instagram, you're all mine. I'm going to take the headphones out. That should be working. Okay, hello, YouTube. Did you switch to speaker view, George? Yeah. Okay, so as George said, we are going to be painting the London Skyline today. So I have this as a printed version. If you're on YouTube, it's going to be reversed. So anything that I'm going to do on the left, you're probably going to see me doing it on the right. So just bear that in mind. It's not a big deal. It's just you're going to have a mirror painting. That's all, if you were wondering. But head over to YouTube if that was something that might be a bit weird for you. So I'm going to take you through the background first, which is all this multicoloured background. And by the way, this is the second attempt attempting this, because the first time obviously YouTube booted us out. So if you're returning, hello. If you're new, hello. So multicolour background first, and then we're going to have a little bit of a break just to let that dry, and then we're going to place all the city skyline buildings over the top, and we're going to try and break that down really simple into simple shapes so that we're all going to get it. If you are in a different city, as I have seen in some of the YouTube comments, we've got people from San Antonio, all the way from San Antonio,
So
Birmingham,
exciting.
Manchester, Cornwall. We're like reaching global pop-up painting places now. So let's get on with it. If you haven't got your paint out already, now's the time to start squeezing the colours out. I have a yellow, a blue, a white and a red on my palette already. So that's a yellow, a blue, a white and a red on my palette. So get that all squeezed out on whatever palette you're using. If that's a plate, that's fine, squeeze them all out. And if you have it all out already, that's absolutely fab. Let's get started. I'm going to be using 3 brushes throughout. Well, it might just be 2 of them. Let's see how it goes. But I've got a big one, a medium one and a small one. So you can use as many brushes as you like, but that's what I'm going to be using throughout. Now, we have clean water as well, and we also have a napkin for any sort of moppage and spillage that goes on throughout. Maybe if you get your drink around you, you know, all happy accidents, you've got the napkin there for any type of spillage that goes on. So I've got a brush and I'm just going to dip it in my water first. So, and I'm going to place the water on my brush quite loosely and freely, just wetting my background of my canvas with the water first. This is so we're going to get a nice runny, watery effect. I've seen some people using watercolor pencils. You might want to just use the pencil first and then place the water over that and bleed it out as you go. Keep a tissue handy as you're doing that, because if you spread too far, or if you don't like a sort of watery knot that you've made, you can mop it up really quickly. You can lift watercolor fairly decently in a type of erasing it with more water as well. So that's with the acrylic, and the first colour I'm going to do, I'm going to work from light to dark. Okay, so it's multicolour, really lovely rainbow type colours that in the background, and we've got some yellow here is placed, and I'm going to place that on this as roughly as I can, as best I can. If you want to do completely something else, that's fine. If you want to start off with a different colour, that's absolutely fine. However, I would suggest maybe you start off with a light colour. This is so that we're using our water as free from getting it really dirty and muddy as quickly as possible. So I've got some of that water on my canvas, and then I picked up some of the yellow, and I'm just placing it on, just really roughly, and bleeding out. We see some of it is quite strong, some of it is quite weak. That's absolutely fine, the effects that we're going to get. And the more colour and paint that we place on the canvas, the more colour and bleed that we're going to add into it. So that's as much as yellow that I'm putting on. I'm going to go to my next color, which is this orange shade. So how do we make orange? Do you want to guess?
I want to say it.
How do we make orange?
Red and yellow.
Well done. So that's red and yellow. Now I've saved some space in my pop-up painting palette. That's in the art kit we find at popuppainting.com. Check it out. I'm picking up the yellow and the red, and I'm just mixing that in. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow just so that it goes a bit more orange. So the red can be quite powerful dominant. So you want to really kind of balance those out a little bit by adding some more yellow than red. Okay, once you have an orange that you're happy with, you can then start placing it onto the canvas of the exact same ways we applied the yellow. So bear in mind, if you're following the original, you can get the image up on the PopUp Painting website for reference. If you have it printed out or it's in front of you somehow and you're following along with it, that's fine. So I'm going to place it roughly again where the orange is on the original here, but feel free to place it wherever you want. I'm probably going to place it somewhere else as well, so you know, we're all free to do what we like. How are we doing? What type of acrylic paint are you using? I'm using quite basic acrylic paints. They're great for beginners. They're not too heavy bodied and they're not too loose in texture, so they're great to sort of start out with. We supply those. I'm using the paint that we supply in our art kit, so that if people have bought them, then hopefully our colours that we mix should look the same. Student grade paint, not sure what the difference is. Student grade paint, not sure what.
I've never heard of that one, Annie.
Tubes. Okay. There really isn't going to be much of a difference. There may be more pigment in grade quality ones in terms of the powerfulness, how that the colour comes out on the canvas, but using basic ones as well. So for what we're doing, and just for a quick hour, you really don't need to be spending lots of money on artistic paints, I should say professional artist paints, unless you are a professional artist, and if you're taking it seriously and this is just a big stepping stone for you to get there, then do invest. It is worth it, especially with watercolour. You don't really want to be using watercolour on sort of like A4 printer paper. You do want the quality paper for watercolour, otherwise you're never really going to fully appreciate and see how great the quality of the paints can get. But this, for what we're doing, is perfect, so don't worry, Anita, the paints that you have is absolutely fine. Right, I've placed quite a lot of orange on there, much more than there is in the original, but that's fine. The next colour that I'm going to put on is red, and that's straight from the palette. So I'm not going to be mixing anything, I'm just going to grab it up. Actually, as I say, red is quite a powerful colour, so I'm going to loosen that out a little bit, just so that, and it's going to blend in because none of that is dry yet. Kind of drink. How's everybody's day? Quite miserable in terms of the weather, considering what we've been having. We've been spoiled.
I know it was a little bit miserable today.
It's left us, and we're left with the
I
grey.
know. But hopefully this is a good time for us to be using all of the colours we have to be wild and free and summery, and remembering that all is good in the world.
Because when the rain and the sun is out, what happens? A rainbow.
Haha.
Okay, that's great. Look how that's running. I'm not going to touch that. Happy accidents, let's leave that alone. That's enough red. So I have mixed a yellow and an orange and then a red, and then my next colour I'm just going to pick some white and I'm going to blend that into the red that I have there. Oh, I'm dripping. The palette's dripping, not me. although I don't know
Yeah,
how
whatever.
Okay, where am I going to put the pink? I think I'm going to put the pink up here. There's not a lot of it, and there's a few places I'm going to actually just put the white on as well, so that it blends in with the red that's already there, and that's naturally going to make it go pink. There's not a lot of it, but it's quite nice to put it on just to give a bit of contrast in a sense of all those colours. Now, sticking with the light shades again, I'm going to pick up some of my white and I'm going to mix it with my blue. So I'm going to get some of that white, I'm going to put it in there and then pick up some blue. Now, I didn't wash my brush out, that's very, very good. So do make sure you wash your brush out because some of that red has gone into it, but I've salvaged it by putting a bit more white in, so it is still quite light. And I'm going to place the light blue just down here in places and just play with the colours. It's not going to be dry yet, just go with it. Don't like it, leave it to dry and you can go over it. You can go over any of the acrylics once it's dried. You can get rid of any mistakes that you make once it's dry. No one will know apart from everybody else in the room around you. That doesn't mean a cat and a dog if you're by yourself, or the walls if you don't have pets. But no one's judging, obviously. That is enough blue in terms of a light blue. Now we're going to get into a bit more of the contrast. So I will probably go with green first. How do we make green, George?
Oh, sorry, I had to rush to unmute myself. Blue and yellow, I believe.
You believe correct. I don't know what accent that was, but let's
I don't know either. I would be interested to know at this point, though, if anyone's gone rogue already. So if anyone's not listened to Annie at all and gone for a green straight up before the red, or gone, I don't know, completely multicolored. I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
something.
As I've said before, I absolutely love it when people don't listen to me.
We do give extra brownie points for those who go a wee bit rogue in these painting classes, so please go ahead. Let us know if you've gone a bit wild on the.
Yes, do that. Now, I almost forgot how to mix green, but it is yellow and blue. George, absolutely right. And I'm going to put a little bit more yellow. Oh, so I've got a dark blue. I use the dark blue to mix with the yellow. And that's what it kind of looks like. If you want it to go a little bit darker, you can put a bit more blue into it, but that's going to be fine for now. So I'm just going to put the green up here to add a bit of the contrasting with the orange and the light blue. And then there's a bit of green also down here. So you can add more if you like. That's where it is based in the original. But feel free to place green anywhere that you want. This is your creation, this is your masterpiece. So just have a bit fun with it. Go with the flow. It's a fun painting to do. And Katie, you're absolutely right. Katie's left a comment on YouTube. She said that the different interpretations that everybody makes, even though we're all using the same medium, is really quite something. So it never fails to impress. So keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, that is always a lovely message that we tell everyone to unleash their own creativity. And even the artist, when they're normally doing these events, says my painting isn't going to look like the original painting, because we always have our own style. So that's what we love to see, originality.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my god, I've just seen somebody is in Madrid painting along.
I know.
That's insane. Oh gosh, and Lisa's gone rogue. Lisa's gone rogue, everybody. So can't wait to see that one.
She's done it. She's gone rogue.
Yeah. Right, so I'm getting some of my dark blue now, and I'm just going to place that on my canvas. If I just hold up the original. We've got some dark blue areas down here and a little bit up here as well. There's a slight blue shade coming up over here on this side. If you're happy with the balance of all of your colours already and you just want to place it on here, or if you don't really want to put another dark shade on, you want to keep it quite bright, then that's fine. Now, because we're coming to the last colour in terms of the background, and we're going to need to let this dry a little bit, just so before we place the skyline on, have a little step back. Take a little moment with your canvas, only you, your eyes, put it all on the canvas, just stare at it, take it all in, embrace what you've done, and the next 2 or 3 minutes, just balance out those colours. If you want a little bit more yellow coming through because you've done too much orange and you've gone over it, then put some yellow on. If you want vice versa, put some more orange on, or green, or darken up green, you know, just soak in what you've done so far and go with the flow. So I'm going to put on the dark blue, and once that you have a darker color on, all of these lighter shades will just pop. They just pop out. So you could also do a violet shade, like a purple. Purple would look really nice next to the green and yellow. We're not limited to the colors that are just on this. We could, alternatively, you could have just done 2 colors for your background. You didn't have to do this multiple rainbow one, but this is what we displayed, so this is what we must produce. This is also a redeeming live, considering we went off, we kickstarted with this one and YouTube booted us out. So we're going to get through this one with no hiccups, hopefully.
So we're already doing much better than before. I love it.
Okay. Right. I think we're at a little drying time, George. So that's the last colour that I put on for my background. I'll just recap. So people have just joined us and they want to jump in. We started with the yellow, then we added the orange, and then we placed the red straight on from the canvas, on the palette, straight onto the canvas. And then we mixed up green and we made up a light blue. And then finally we added blue, the dark blue, straight from the palette onto the canvas, and we just blend all of these colors are blended in with each other as we go. If you put too much paint on your canvas so far and you just think, oh my god, this is a big colorful mess, then let it dry. As I say, just let it dry and you could go over it. You can bring back some of these shades. Alternatively, you can bring back some of the white in the canvas if you prefer. So you might decide that you want a little white spot there or a white spot there, and you can just, the white is also quite great to blend between shades as well. So if you wanted a gradient color, you can add that. So yeah, just take a little moment, top up your drink, grab fresh water if you want, just let this canvas dry a little bit. George, do we have any comments, any questions come through?
We don't have many comments or questions coming through, actually. I think everyone seems rather happy. Yeah, this is a nice one. I'm liking this event. I think this is probably why, I don't know, I'm maybe assuming that this may be why we chose to do this for the first one, because it's such a lovely, very colourful painting, and it's allows you to be pretty free and expressive, I suppose. So yeah, maybe give us some comments if you have gone a little bit rogue. I know Lisa said you've gone rogue, but what have you done, Lisa? Have you gone for a specific color? Have you completely mixed it up? Have you got lots of patterns going on in there? We'd love to hear what's going on. Instagram, I can see loads of people have joined, but let's give us some thumbs up, or tell us if you are doing anything in particular, or if you're enjoying it, if you're managing to follow along. Yeah, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I can't see anyone. Let's have a look. I mean, as you said, we've got some great people joining. So we've got Wolverhampton, we've got Madrid. Oh, also, actually, this is a good time to point out. So the point of having all of you guys from so many different locations is wonderful for us, but also great for you, because if you want to then start thinking about your skyline that's going to be put on in a minute, you might want to think about maybe your home location rather than London if you don't want to do London. I would love to see some sort of Madrid skyline for those joining from Madrid. That would be super fun.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. maybe mix
feel
up some
free.
of the buildings, so multicultural painting.
Yeah, please. I mean, also sometimes our skylines go a bit rogue too, and it's not necessarily geographically correct. So if you want to add something else into the London skyline that might be from somewhere else, go wild. As Annie is flapping around on the drawing. I love it. Oh, hey,
wow.
Beck. Oh, lovely. We have Lucy in Leicester, Sophie in London, Beth. Oh my God, so many people. This is grand.
I'm doing a Laura. She blows on her.
Yeah, top tip, if anyone has a hairdryer, go wild.
Well, I do,
This is a good time.
just, it's probably a bit noisy for the microphone, so, but that is a good idea. Especially if you're working in watercolor, hairdryer is your friend.
Oh, it looks like Lisa said here she's got a rainbow, maybe a theme rainbow ? Maybe works really well with watercolor. Oh, great! Yeah, so this is a good one. As you can see, like we always say at Pop-Up Painting, that water is your best friend, because the quicker the more watery things are, they dry faster, and that makes it for a really nice background. Lots of blending colors.
The original is in watercolor, so.
And the original is in watercolor, so this is great. Who was saying that? Frederica Grand. I'm loving that you're using watercolors. I've masking taped out some lines, so hopefully it doesn't rip the canvas. It will have a geo effect. Oh, lovely. I'm liking that.
Yeah, it shouldn't rip, but if you're worried about it tearing, get a hairdryer and just cover the hairdryer over the tape, because the glue will like warm up a little bit, and it will be easier to take the tape off.
Brilliant. I love it.
Okay, maybe we should continue.
I think we're ready to continue. Yeah. Right. Again, if anyone has some comments or questions, please leave them in. We can keep answering as we go too. Don't worry, we don't have to just leave that to our break. So sorry, Annie. Let's get going.
I love the time zone difference as well.
Like 1
p.m. and someone's having tea. That's great.
Oh, I'd love to be having my tea again. Sorry.
Yeah, might have a tea after this.
Oh, yeah, go for it. Right, over to you, my love.
Oh, Becky on Instagram. What paints are you using? So she's got she's using a brush, and her hairs have got stuck to her painting. So keep an eye on her reply for me, George. Right.
I'm on it.
I'm going to break this down really simple into squares, rectangles first, and then maybe some squares. And then I will ignore this, and we will continue with every other building that's in the line of the sky. And then we will come back to this. The reason why I do that is because on previous occasions, people have done this building, then they've done the wheel, and then they've left no room for the rest of the buildings because the wheel's been too big. But that's absolutely fine. It's not the end of the world, but I'm doing it that way just to maybe avoid that. Famous last words, because I probably will go too big and won't fit the last couple of things on. So we'll see how it goes. If that is the case, just fit what you can fit. You don't really need the entire set of building here. Alternatively, you could create your own world. You don't even need an actual skyline that's existing. Just create one of your own. So the skyline is black. If you want to use any other colour, I would suggest getting some fresh water now, and don't use paint that we've been using. It's just wash your brushes out really thoroughly, so that you can mix up that colour that you want to use and use it for the entire piece. So for instance, if you wanted to use white, you definitely need new fresh water. So we are going to start with the Battersea Power Station, I believe, building. I've got a medium-sized brush and it's a flat head, so I'm going to use both sides, and I'm going to use the end of it to draw with first, and then the flat side of it, so the long side of it, to fill in as we go. Or you can just draw it out and fill in after. It's up to you. So let's start. The first thing we need to commit to is a line. So we have that line. Take a deep breath. It's really weird because I feel that it's straight, but when I look, it's like, so if my building looks wonky, it's not. George, does it look wonky? That's excuse anyway. So we have.
Nah, it's all right.
We'll go with it.
Yeah.
So we have the line. Takes a lot of courage to do that after over everything you've already done. So well done. You've taken the plunge. Now the first, as I said, the first building is Battersea Powerhouse Station. So we're going to do a rectangle shape, which I drew with the ends of the brush, the lines, the ends, and then we have the tall towers sticking up here, and they're just rectangles, but I'm still using the end and I'm using the width of that brush to give the width of those towers. And then the top of the towers need little hats. So I'm just going to do a little line like that. And we can fill this in now if you want, or you can leave it and fill it in after. I'm going to fill it in so I think that you might be able to see it a little bit clearer if my instructions aren't that good.
Annie, your instructions are perfect, but yeah, that is good. It's nice to see it filled in. Thank you.
Okay, so then we're just going to move a little way along, so roughly about ½ an inch maybe, or an inch, depending on the size of the canvas you're using. So just judge proportions to the size of your canvas. And it is the gherkin. The gherkin? It's the gherkin, isn't it?
It's the gherkin.
Okay, lovely. And that's a little bit smaller than your Battersea Powerhouse Station. So we are just going to do a line down, and then from the top we're going to round it out. So there we have a little rounded gherkin, or I don't know, it's a bit like a bullet, isn't it, as well? Strange shape. Okay, and then moving along again, probably about, I'd say, a centimetre now, so it's not that much in between. We've got Parliament and Big Ben, so we need one tower, which is just a rectangle. So we can mark that, or you can use the width of your brush to fill the entire tower first. And then we go along on the bottom. So we raise the skyline bottom that we initially made, just raise it, marking out on the side using the side of the brush. And then we go up again with another little tower. And then we raise that line again. And then we've got 2 little buildings. And then we have the Big Ben, which is otherwise, AKA known, George, trivia.
Oh, no, you've got me. I don't know. I didn't realise there was another name for it. I just call it Big Ben.
Elizabeth Tower.
Oh my goodness. Wowzers. I'm so
Put that in your
trivia.
quizzes that you're all doing now. There you go. Although it's probably a well-known thing.
Not for me. I didn't know that. Thanks for the tip.
Ms. Welcome. Don't worry about all this little decorations that I'll just bring this in. There's like little tips at the top of all of those. Little tips at the top of all of those. We can do those little details with a small brush after. At the moment, we're just going to get the solid shapes down. So we've done that. And then the next building that we have, I'm just going to give old Lizzie the shape there that she needs. There we go. She looks a little bit healthier now, doesn't she? So the next shape is just a triangle shape. So we have the shard, a triangle shape. Now the way to do this is just use the end of your brush as well, the end of your brush. And I would suggest it's taller than anything else that's on the skyline. So I would suggest doing a line down as straight as you can. You're going to fill it in so it doesn't really matter. And then just ignoring the tip, you want to come out down from the side and you've got your triangle shape. Then you can fill it in. And your tip at the top is still pointy. So you can do it with a small brush, or you can do it with a medium brush, which I've been doing. Small brush, you're going to obviously get a little bit more of a pointy tip, but you can decorate and expand your edges after, we've said our goodbyes. You can do whatever you like to your picture. I'm just trying to get the bulk down so that you have the majority of the instructions. So the last building is Canary Wharf, which is another rectangle, a bit of a triangle on top. So we have a bit more of a fatter rectangle, is Canary Wharf. And then we have a rectangle, just a little rectangle, and then triangle. So it's almost like got a little hat as well. So all this sort of rectangle, square, rectangle, square, rectangle, square, triangle, take whatever skyline you're doing and follow that principle of breaking it all down into simple shapes, and you'll be able to do whatever skyline you're doing. So before we start to decorate and give it its little tips and hats and stuff, I'm going to pick up my small brush and I'm going to get the black paint or whatever color you're using. The big bell is the name of the bell only. The whole tower is called Elizabeth Tower. George, you better write that down.
Oh my goodness, I'm learning so much.
Someone's painting is looking like a psychedelic watercolor mess. I mean, that's kind of like a painting you want hung up, or at least dive into to experience. I mean, how
I
crazy
know, I
would
said
that
that,
be?
that sounds really epic. I'm loving the sound of that. I mean, psychedelic London is all we need right now.
Okay, right. What are we missing? The wheel. So if we saved that space earlier, because I didn't put it in, then we should be able to fit that in quite nicely. And you can fit it in with your small brush, and it's all it is just a bit of a semicircle. We don't really need to go all the way over unless you haven't filled it in, but if you wanted to, you can. So then what you would do is just find the midpoint of that roughly. It's not going to be accurate, and then just slice it up evenly like pizza, and you'll get the lines for your pods, so you can, you know, experience your London skyline. Because obviously you want to get on the wheel so you can see all the buildings that you just created. So make sure you put a pod for yourself so no one can get on your pod, or at least make sure your lines are solid, because you don't want your wheel rolling off. You don't want to be on your wheel rolling over.
No, you do not.
Just painted. I mean, you know. Right. So there we have, and then there is a second little line with some triangles. So that's quite nice detail that you can concentrate on doing at the very end, that you can add in. And you know, when we've gone, your painting is dried a little bit, you may find that some of this is a little bit transparent. Just let it dry and then add another layer of black over it. The reason why it's a bit transparent and you're adding wet paint onto wet paint is because if you're just adding wet paint onto wet paint, you're literally just taking the wet paint back off again. So just be patient with it, just let it dry, and you'll be able to cover that, and you can get that quite solid to a satisfactory quite block of black color that you have.
That is really helpful, Annie. Because I noticed even when you just put in like the Battersea bit, when you went over the top with another layer of black, I can instantly see that it's much denser and thicker already. So that, yeah, that's a good tip. All it takes is a bit of patience and you're good to go.
Yeah. Which, you know, painting does give that time to allow to, you know, calm your emotions. Can block out everything and just sit and paint.
Absolutely.
Right, so what I'm doing now is I'm just going back over the Parliament and the Big Ben area. I'm just giving them a little bit of a tip, and I'm just going to add in a sense of distant backgrounds as well along the skyline. And I'm going to do that really quickly. Feel free to take your time. Maybe you can pause this video and then catch up. We have two little triangle spikes on the top there. And we have 2 there. And we also have the triangle on the top of the Elizabeth Tower with a bit of a steeple as well. So if you're finding that you're painting with the black and you're using a small brush and it's quite coming out quite dry and rough looking, or it sounds quite rough as you're painting, dip your brush in the water and put it in the paint again, because you'll need more water on that so that it can spread out a little bit easier. And there we have canary wool, so I'm just going to make that a little bit more solid. So let me just add a few little distant buildings there. And maybe there's one there as well. You know, well, I will just add a big old tree. No,
yeah, whatever you want.
I haven't got the time for that. As my good friend Bob Ross would have done.
Oh, Bob.
Right, so that's pretty much filled in. How are we going to get the nice, how are we going to get the nice little runny, watery effect down there? Well, if you've been using the black paint, your water should be fairly dirty right now. So we will run with our medium brush or big brush, depending on how much sort of reflection drips you want. What did I say? Yes. Dip the brush, whatever size you're using, in the water and just use the water to glide along the bottom of this area so far. Just let the water drip and then pick up your black paint and then glide that on as well. Just glide it back and forth, dip it in your paint, dip it in your water, and you're going to get some sort of drippy effect. Now, a little bit more drips in one area, just focus on one area and push your brush into the canvas and let it drip, let it run, let it drip. If you're worried that that's going to happen, do your best to catch it with a napkin. If you don't want it to go all the way down, do your best to catch it and it should lift off. And if it's not too dark, you shouldn't be worried about staining that area of your canvas too much either. Right, so in terms of directions, there's not much left for me to say because that is pretty much the canvas painting complete. So congratulations if you've got this far. As I said, if you're catching up, that's absolutely fine. Go at your own pace. Pause this video and then join in again when you're ready to do the next step. If you want to continue with your painting, feel free to add some white highlights if you've done it in black. If you've done it in white, maybe add some black highlights, some shadows. If you've done it in a different colour, maybe pick a contrasting colour to do little highlights or decorations. Maybe you want some windows, some sort of lights are in canary wool. Maybe people are in there working, naughty, they should be at home. Yeah, go wild with your skyline. Hopefully, maybe if you're in a different city, you've added with your own buildings. Do let us know. We'd love to see it. At PopUp Painting, hashtag PopUp Painting. Those are the social feeds. With the palettes, if you're using a PopUp Painting palette or any other palette, a little trick into cleaning it is to wash your brushes and your palette out as soon as you're finished with it. Do not leave your brushes in your water like this. It will ruin your paintbrushes. If you want to clear your palette off completely as best as you can, eventually there will be bits on it that will not come off, but to start off with, boil a kettle, hot water, put it in the sink, pour your kettle over it, let it soak for about 5 or 10 minutes, and it is so satisfying that the dried paint will just peel off. Like that is really satisfying. I would just, let your palette dry just to do that, really.
Oh, I used to remember doing that at school and it was the most satisfying thing.
Yeah, it really is. And it will come off clean as well. So let it, you can clean it off and you can scrub it instantly if you, or just let it dry. I've got quite a lot of paint on this, so I might try and salvage that and put it back into the tubes. But anyway, that's done. Don't forget to sign it. Put your signature on. It increases the value if you should want to sell these.
Massively.
Take pictures of your painting. print them out as cards, send them to everybody. What a nice little gift that is.
Yay.
Or a postcard.
I love it.
Card.
It is
Okay,
beautiful.
I'm going to be quiet now. Do you want to end it?
Do you want to add me back into Instagram? I was just going
Yeah.
to say we have Maria on Instagram who's been making some really lovely comments and lots of smiley faces and star faces and lots of joy, saying thank you and looking forward to meeting you in the near future in London. Yay, that would be grand.
You would love that.
Oh, how do I add myself in?
Can't wait. Oh, I haven't done it yet. I was listening to you. Sorry.
No, don't worry.
There we go. Add.
Yay. Brilliant.
He's back. You might want to mute me though. It'll echo.
Aha. Is that okay? Yay.
Yeah.
Hello. So hello Insta, just to kind of wrap up the event and say thank you for joining. For everyone on YouTube too. Again, as Annie said, we would love to see all of your pictures. If you want to share them on Instagram or any other platform, please do. You can tag us, you can at us, PopUp Painting, hashtag PopUp Painting Live. That would be grand. And we do actually have some other events coming up. So the next live event we have coming up is on the 2nd of May, and that's a Paint Van Gogh, which is very exciting. So that's going to be something we haven't seen yet. We also have our first online party coming up too, which is super exciting. So the online parties are going to be twice as long. They're a little bit more kind of close knit. It means that you can, if you want to do it with your family and friends and you want it to be a bit more like a party, these ones are paid but they're longer, and it means that we can use paintings that take a little bit more time, have a bit more detail. So please do have a look at that on our website too if you are interested in doing something that's a bit longer too. And also, we would love to hear from you if you have any suggestions of other paintings coming up, because obviously we've done a few now and it's very exciting that you're loving what we're doing. But, if you have any suggestions and they seem to fit in with us, that would be grand too. We might just take you up on the offer. So let us know if you have any things that you would love to paint or love to see us doing in the future too. But for now, again, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Annie. That was really grand.
That's okay. Am I still unmuted?
You are... No, you're back.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, thank you everybody for joining again. It's really fun. Nicola Cook said, have we not done this one before? We did do this one before, but first time YouTube blocked us out. So this is why we repeated it for people who missed out on YouTube. So that's the reason. So you can finally see it in all its full glory, which is grand. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, thank you everyone, and we'll see you again either on Friday if you want to join us on the online, or on next Tuesday for our next live event. Great. Yeah, join us on our online. Have a lovely evening. Fun. Yeah, please do. Okay. See you later. Bye.